It's like
I was almost about to become a video game developer yesterday.
Oh, yeah. You and 10 other people.
10?
Yeah.
That's it?
Yeah.
Yeah, man. That sucks. Like 5K total?
It was about 7. Yeah. So
7
yeah,
gross.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah. Jason is probably listening to this because he's one of the 3 or 4 people that listens live. So watches
What's up,
live.
Jason?
So yeah. So we did. We did an experiment this week. Jason actually came to me with an offer I couldn't refuse. He was like, "I'll write the emails for you. All you have to do is send them out." So I was like, "All right, let's give it a try." And it was one of those where I was like not sure how it would do because it was technology specific, kind of like the Python course. And so so we ended up we did 4 emails. I did an interesting experiment. I sent out before I did any of the emails for the campaign, I sent out an email ahead of time saying, "Are you interested?" Like the subject line was, "Are you interested in video game development?"
Yeah.
And then I segmented people based on whether they opened that email or not. So we had about 14,000 people open that email, and then 39,000 did not open the email. And I sent the same emails to both of those 2 groups. And then we actually used separate affiliate codes as well, so we could track which groups, what the sales were for each group. And we made 0 sales to the group that did not open the "Are you interested in video game development?" emails. I'm actually right now I'm looking at I use different pretty links too, so I can track the number of clicks. So let me see.
You should have had one that was, "Are you interested in a Russian bride?"
So we ended up doing so we did, of the 39,000 people that were not in the segment that opened that first email, we did about 325 clicks and 0 sales. And then the other group that was 14,000, we did 1,700 clicks and 10 sales.
Wow.
So pretty much this confirms that it's not worth hammering the list. Like if you can segment it, it's definitely not worth hammering the whole list. I mean, like with, it's going to be, if we'd made 500 sales, we probably would have made, a small handful to that other group. But you're also opening yourself up to deliverability issues when you do that. So there's a trade-off. Like, yeah, you get like maybe, if we did the productivity thing again, we might get, an extra 5 or 10 sales. But for me as the list owner, that's also, I'm hurting myself to get those extra sales. So yeah, so I'm probably going to use this going forward. It just reduces the amount of noise and the amount of stuff that we send out too. So
interesting.
Yeah. So yeah,
you would think that not everyone gets to your first email, but this is very interesting that they don't even, because sometimes the first email, it gets lost, and you notice the second email and you're like, oh, okay, maybe I'm
I mean, there's
also there's a price point thing.
Yes, yeah, we have right. This was a $500 price point. So and then John and I talked about it yesterday, and one thing he said was, and that was true, is with the Python course, we were pitching it as like, hey, this is a business opportunity. We're going to teach you how to get clients and, make money with this, basically. And with video game thing, it's probably more on the hobby side.
Yeah.
Kind of like hobby or personal dream versus like, because most people probably do not believe that they can get a job doing game development. One thing we could have in hindsight maybe highlighted more is that Jason, a lot of his students end up using the 3D technology, like the Unity 3D, to do games, or not games, but actual apps that have more complex user interface, and not using the standard, standard iOS list views and all that stuff. So we could have highlighted that more, but I still think, I don't know that that really would have helped us a whole lot. Really, the main draw was the video game development, and there was a lot of interest in it, but I think the price point on this one was just too high.
I think at that price point, only the people who are really primed for that idea are the ones who are actually going to take any action for it, right? People who have already been thinking about video game development will actually jump on it. It's a lower price point. It's much easier for people to convert and say, yeah, I think I can use it. But $500, you have been thinking about video game development, and when the video game development email shows up, you're much more likely to click on it compared to $100 product when the second or third email can still trigger the same response.
Yeah.
So my experience with this is that the dollar amount that we got out of this probably would have been pretty consistent. So if we'd sold a product for $5 or $9, we would have made a ton more sales, but it probably would have ended up very similar. So with JavaScript Launchpad, we saw this where we sold that sucker at a bunch of different price points. And when we listed it at $9, we sold it for $9, and I think we did like 700 or 800 sales, but it ended up being like $7,000 or $8,000.
Yeah.
And that was after we'd sold. That was after we'd already done, a couple other rounds of sales on it. So, I think if we'd launched it at that price point, it probably would have been, 10, 12K. But that would in that case, upsells would have helped a lot.
Mm-hmm.
We didn't have. But we did actually though. We did. Remember our conversation about a few weeks back about Russell Brunson and his recommendation of having something completely different. I forgot to mention this, and I wanted to mention it. So we did the JavaScript Launchpad thing. Sold it for $9, and we put 10 steps to learn anything quickly as an upsell, like a one-click upsell, which for us those usually convert between 7 and 12%.
Whoa.
Pretty consistently. We made 0 upsells, 0 out of like hundreds and hundreds.
What was the price point though?
It was $79, so $7 or $9 to $79.
That's a huge jump. You got to keep it within the range. If it was $19 or $29, we could have thought about it.
I do $5 to $49 pretty successfully. So,
how much is that working? Like, what percentage of the crowd will take that?
It was like 10 or 12%.
Okay.
So
we were doing around 25% on our upsell because the price point was 29 to 49, right?
Yeah. Yeah, that's a lower.
And the bump was also 29. So.
Yeah, I agree that lower would have been better, but the point is that we literally sold hundreds of these things and we had 0 conversions. So selling something that that's come from completely different is more difficult than. We've also seen this with JavaScript. Yeah, like I've not been able to upsell successfully from JavaScript Launchpad at any price point to any of our other products. Because it's like a specific technical course, and it just doesn't work. But yeah. So
because Donald Trump colluded with the Russians to get the sales down.
That's gotta be it.
That's gotta be it.
No, he was just busy with Stormy. I remember. I was hanging out with him.
Oh man. So yeah, so Jason felt a little bad, I think, about this because he talked me into it, but I have no regrets about doing it. So it was just it was an interesting test, and I think that if we he sells this thing for $1,000 and it sells pretty well to his audience, but he's building an audience off of YouTube, doing video game development videos. So that's very different than what we have. So I think even if we'd knocked the price down, so he sells it for $1,000, we knocked it down to 500. Even if we'd knocked it down to 100, I still think I do not think that we would have made as much revenue if we'd knocked it, because we would have had to 7x or 5x the conversion rate, and I just don't think that would have ever happened. So
yeah. Also, you have to remember something like this is efforts, right? It's very effortful to say, okay, I'm going to
Yeah.
change my track. I'm going to do video game development or learn JavaScript or something like that, compared to something that's easier to say, I can use it anytime or anywhere
Right.
or all the time. And I don't have to like go down this path and invest months and months into changing my life
Right.
while,
Mhm.
so
Yeah.
So,
It's
so
like almost like a
that's-
little bit like a boot camp at that point.
yeah, the 10 steps to learn anything makes so much more sense, because that one you can apply anytime and you don't have to like literally change your life. You just use, it's like a usable skill.
Right.
Same with like productivity, mental toughness, all those things. You can use them whenever you want. You don't have to do it right now. So the video game thing is like now or never, which makes, or not only now or never, but also like it's going to, I have to invest a lot of time and energy and mental focus to get that done.
Yeah.
So if I'm not down, I'm not, even at $100, I don't care. It's not going to be worth my time.
Mhm.
All right.
Yep. Yeah, that seemed to be. I think so far the two things that we had the toughest time with as affiliate promotions were this and Thinkful, and they both had that high level of effort. So that's something good to keep in mind.
Oh, can you come back?
Oh, yeah. High level of effort is always
Yep.
not only high level of effort, but also like that they have to go and change their track.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. It's like scrap everything you had planned for the next 2 months.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And just come with me without any planning.
Yep.
That's why you should have sent the Russian bride subject line, because those people were ready to scrap everything. A new life
It's true.
in Russia. We'll actually send them to Russia. We won't
Donald
deliver
Trump
Russia.
already got one. Now he got 3. Oh, they're not called brides anymore.
Oh man.
So I opened the NASDAQ yesterday. That
Hey,
was cool.
how did it feel?
It was pretty cool. It's actually pretty cool to see like just like what goes on behind the scenes, like the NASDAQ and when a company's going IPO. So
So wait, did you actually open? Is that what you said?
well, I was
You were-
there.
you were there, yeah,
with them.
okay.
Yeah, part of it.
I was
So
picturing you ringing the bell. I don't even know
No.
if they do that for the Nasdaq, but
they do.
You
they do
hammer.
a-
You hit the hammer or something?
What's that? No, they did a button push for NASDAQ because it's technology. So,
okay.
but Aaron, the CEO of Pluralsight, did. So
Oh, nice.
and we were all standing around while he was doing it. So
I,
yeah, it was,
I watched the interview, CNBC interview of Aaron
yeah,
about plural sites.
you did
It
good,
was
right?
interesting. Yeah, he did. Good. I mean, he expressed the idea clearly,
Yeah,
why they are what they are. I mean, I'm still not sure how they can compete with Linda in the long term, but that's what it is.
I think they'll be okay. Just because they have that focus, right? They kind of have
Technology
the market
focus.
share in software development.
How big is Linda, like comparatively? I wonder.
they're
Yeah.
they're LinkedIn now. They're LinkedIn learning.
Linda sold to LinkedIn for what,
Oh.
$2 billion, two or
Okay.
more. Yeah,
I mean, that's
now
that's similar. To,
Microsoft. Yeah, so they got a lot of deep pockets now.
interesting.
But then there also could be their downfall, because now they got freaking bureaucracy to deal with.
Right.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, which happens, right? A lot of startups fail after they get bureaucracy.
But yeah, it was pretty good. They just the whole process was really interesting. Just seeing the behind the scenes, and then
What's their market cap now?
shit, I don't even know. Let me see.
Because they only floated like what, $300 million worth of share.
They ended up getting like $360 million, I think, total.
Right.
That's what they raised. So
What percent of their company did they sell?
I'm not sure what the total percent was. I know that at the end of the day, like Aaron had like 56% voting power. in public
Still.
companies.
Damn.
So yeah.
Yeah.
But it was supposed to.
Well,
it was-
voting power could be from the A class.
could be. Yeah.
Mhm.
Doesn't have to be 56% of the company.
No.
Mhm.
But
Just
but
like
they had a
Zuckerberg.
couple. What's that?
I think Zuckerberg still holds more than 50% of voting power at Facebook.
Yeah. But they raised 2 rounds, so like a $25 million round, and they got $130 million round. So
25 IPO?
no, before the IPO, they raised 2 rounds. They raised like a $25 or $26 million round early, and then another like $100 and some million round. So they had to pay out investors. That investors own a significant portion. So, but yeah, it was supposed to IPO. It was supposed to price like,
1.7 billion, so around 2 billion, same as Linda. Wow,
for valuation. No,
that's what I'm looking at. The market
Yeah.
cap was 1.7.
yeah. But
Wow.
but yeah,
Damn.
Pluralsight's more. I would actually bet money on Pluralsight in that because they're more concentrated in the technology, and Linda is spread across everything.
All over.
And
Yeah, they
a
do
lot of those
everything.
niches are like photography is a huge niche, but it's not very. I mean, there are gearheads who spend tons of money, but nobody makes any money in photography. So
Except this guy I know in San Diego who sells photography courses. Does over $1 million a year. John, listen to this. Facebook
Okay.
ads. Facebook ads.
Facebook ads,
That's how he blew it.
selling photography courses,
Photography courses.
but not actually doing photography.
You shouldn't be doing that at that point.
No, it's just like that, like there's a bunch of people that are professional photographers.
yeah.
Don't make any money.
Yeah, and it's getting harder and harder because of how easy it is now for anyone to do it. So yeah, like that. So that's a contrast to software developers who all, make $100K a year, and there's just a lot more money in that niche overall. So
Yeah.
I would be betting there, and it's a growth market versus photography, which is a declining market. But that'll be interesting to watch. I wonder how has Udemy hasn't they haven't IPO'd, right?
No. They haven't. They're still in under the covers, but they're bigger, way bigger than Pluralsight.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm looking to see if there's anything about that. Just very
Yeah,
curious.
and, when I was on Nasdaq on the floor, I ran into Gene Simmons. Yes.
What was he doing there?
He was there for a Squawk Box interview.
Did you tell him that Manny recommended his biography to you?
I did tell him that I liked the book. That's what he was pretty shocked that I was talking about the book. So we chatted about the book for a while. So
That's amazing, man.
yeah, pretty cool.
That's such a fucking legend.
Yeah, it's funny because everyone was like standing around like watching him, right? Like, and I was just like, and then they're like, "What's John doing?" And I was just making a beeline for him. I was like, "I'm gonna meet this guy," so gave him a big bump.
That's pretty awesome.
But yeah, it ended up they ended up pricing at $15 a share for but we got all the authors had like a directed share program, so we were able to buy it at IPO price, but they limited it to like 20,000 shares, but I bought the full allotment, 20,000 shares. So it's pretty good now. It's at like 21.50 right now. So every
Time to
5%.
party. Time to
I
party.
know, time to party.
Were you able to do that with future Pluralsight earnings, or was it you had to put cash into it?
I mean, it was pretty much Pluralsight earnings. Right? I mean, it was that they already paid me out. So.
Yeah. Okay.
Post-tax
Are-
Pluralsight earnings at this point, right?
What's that?
Post-tax Pluralsight earnings.
Yeah,
It was that
yeah.
much. Yeah.
Yeah.
Have you? Are there any tax benefits to that, or is it pretty much just yeah?
Directed share program?
Yeah.
No, I don't think so. I mean, if I hold it for a year, there'll be short-term capital gains.
Long-term capital.
long-term, essentially, yeah.
Okay.
Which I may do. I have. I think there's a good chance that the company will continue to go up. So
Yeah.
it's looking good. It was a really strong IPO as far as like institutional investors.
Nice. Is that the only stock or like equities exposure you have, right, John?
Yep. At this point, yep, pretty much.
Is there any AppSumo of software developers?
Not that I'm aware of.
No, I don't think so.
That'd be cool.
Yeah.
I've for deals, but yeah, I haven't seen anything like AppSumo.
Yeah, we were talking about doing that. I think that would actually be cool. But
I'm working. Yeah, I mean, because then you're completely divorced from Josh and John, because nobody cares if it's Noah Kagan or someone else sending those damn emails anymore, right?
right.
And it's just scalable, sellable business. Though it's interesting how they grew their model.
Yeah, I'm not really sure. I'm honestly not sure how. I kind of feel like that business. My gut sense on that business is that it was kind of a cash cow that they used it to fund other stuff. That it never really. That I feel like my sense is that it's kind of declined. Because I know some people that did, like, it seemed like a lot of the deals that they did, it seemed like it was a bit like a venture capital type of thing where 1 out of 10 would do well, and most of them just sort of barely broke even, or didn't really go anywhere. Because I've seen it from a couple people who did deals with them where it was way less than you would think. I mean, like, comparable to what Jason and I just did.
No.
Yeah. And they had a list of like 750,000. So last I heard, it's probably bigger now, but yeah, because they wanted to do my Sublime book, and they did a couple of experiments, and it just wasn't worth it. So
okay, so they do experiments as in like they do a small list.
No, I mean they'll pick up a book in a specific niche, or pick up an offer in a specific niche and do an offer and see, and then if it works, they'll look for other stuff that's similar. But yeah, so I don't know. We participated in a bundle, John and I did, where it was like a guy came to us and he put together, like, he got like 10 different people together. Oh yeah, and I mean, that didn't really go. It seemed like an awful lot of work, and it didn't really go anywhere. I mean, I think we ended up making like $2,000 out of it or something. And they split the money. They split the money all like evenly among all the partners. So maybe it did. It might have done 20,000, but that was with 10 different people promoting it to their lists. So
I'm gonna be back in a minute.
Yeah. Fortunately, he didn't mute. This has got like kind of a coffee shop vibe to it.
He needs to have. He's never had Larry as a boss. That's the problem.
Yeah.
Hear you breathing. He's breathing.
Yeah. Well, this week has been pretty low energy for me. I have not. I don't know. I had a hard time really getting down, getting stuff done. I don't know how to describe it, and I don't. I think part of it's just this whole process that I'm going through, and it's not like specifically, that I'm
John, well done, John.
Muted. That was awesome. I understand that, like, depression's part of the grieving process, and I'm not sure I completely understand it. But yeah, I've just really been having a hard time getting motivation to do anything. And, and I'll get in and I'll do stuff, I'll get some stuff done, and then I'll feel better. And then and then the next day I don't really feel like doing anything. So I don't know.
Well, just go into tread water mode for a while. You know what I mean? Don't sometimes that's all you get. Just stay afloat. Like, that's the thing, is like, make sure, I guess I can unmute him now.
Manny's back.
Make sure that, how do I unmute him now?
Manny, we muted.
I muted you.
There we go.
Okay, there we go. But yeah, no, I mean, go into tread water mode and don't feel guilty about it, right? I mean, just take some time, like, just so that you survive and the business survives, and then when you have the motivation back, then you'll push forward again. But that's at least that's my advice.
No, I think that's fair. It's just frustrating because I have stuff I want to do, and I'm just like I'm having trouble just getting the energy to do any of it. And some of it I really need to get done, and I'm like, I don't even want to do that. So yeah, I think you're right. I think I need to just push through and get the and then not feel like I really need to nail it down.
And could you mute out when you're not talking there? Because there's like a full dinner service going on next door. Yeah, I mean, this is also, I mean, it's kind of a, if you do what John's suggesting, it's also kind of an interesting situation, because you'll probably notice some things that, well, probably for one thing, things will run better than you think without you, with the systems that you've got in place now. And you might notice some things, some places where some small tweaks could make it even, more.
Right.
I mean, like for me, I was gone like most of last week, and I was expecting to just be buried when I got back. And it really wasn't. I mean, I had a little catching up to do, but it wasn't nearly as much as I was thinking it was.
Hey, John was gone for 2 months, and he expected to be buried when he got back, but there's nothing.
That's because Josh does all the work. Yeah, no, that makes sense. I mean, mostly it's just, I'm trying to figure out how I feel about all these different things. I'm trying to decide, because some of the stuff is, I'm just like, I really just, I don't really want to do it. And I don't know that I'm ever going to really want to do it. And so I'm trying to figure out, how do I not have to do it at all?
Mm-hmm.
And, so just figuring out, some of the stuff is it stuff that I need to just, give up on, or, delegate away, or, and so I'm also having a little bit of that where it's just, I don't really feel like, or I don't know if this is going to be a long-term thing that I want to continue to pursue. So,
What are some examples of that? Like,
I don't know. I think part of the thing that I really didn't have a lot of motivation to do, for the first episodes that I recorded this week, I recorded, I think, 3 episodes on Tuesday, or 2 episodes on Tuesday, and I was fine. And then like Wednesday and Thursday, I did not want to record anything.
Mm-hmm.
And today I have another podcast episode to record, and I'm okay with that. So it just kind of comes and goes. But the other thing is like I'm like setting up the sponsorships. It's okay. Well, I'm doing the work and I'm making this work, and I really enjoy certain aspects of that, but I don't really like doing a lot of it. And I kind of realized that, if my energy's low, I won't.
Yeah.
Right.
So,
when you say setting up the sponsors, is that like the outreach part, or is it the mechanics of getting the?
It's the mechanics of getting it out. And I really just, it's really simple. I just need to upload some banners, which they still haven't got me. So I'm essentially uploading their logo, and then, just scheduling them. I mean, it'll take me 20 minutes.
Yeah.
And it's just stuff like that. And they want to sponsor recurring. So, I need to just get the ball rolling there, but everything kind of fell apart right at the wrong time for them. And so I'm like, yeah, it was supposed to start a few weeks ago, and I'm really sorry about that, but here's what I'm going through, and they'll go out next week. But I need to get those up so that Eric can edit the shows, and the ads show up and things like that. And there are just a couple of other sort of minor things that I could probably spend 10 minutes on, and it would remove some major pain. And I don't have the motivation to do any of that either. Mm-hmm. And my wife's out of town, so I'll get going on something, and my 2-year-old will come in and want to be held. And and I don't know, I'm kind of in an emotional place where I want to, I kind of like having the contact. So I stop, and then I start, and then I stop, and then I start. And anyway, it's just been Yeah, I think I've got a handle on where things are going to be next week, but the other thing is I haven't gotten a ton of downtime, so I feel like I'm kind of fighting through stuff that if I just had a day, I could just fight through it. So I'm also looking at like next week, taking like a full day, and I can't do that on Monday, but I might be able to do it mostly on like Thursday or Friday. So anyway, so it's just stuff like that, and I don't know, but I am making progress on a lot of things. I talked to Michelle on Monday, and I showed her my job role that I showed you last week, Josh.
Yeah.
The production manager, and she's totally on board. And so we're working through those processes now and making sure she understands what goes into all of them. And so that's been, kind of a nice upswing. I also went and looked at a co-working space that opens this week. That's like 10 minutes from here. Just because sometimes I think a change of pace would help.
Have you been following John Lee Dumas's latest changes in his podcast?
No.
So he used to do daily, right?
Mm-hmm.
Now he's moved it to once or twice a week.
Oh, wow.
It's moved from a format of like interview, like just asking the same rote interview questions every time. It's more like a masterclass, like let me teach you this thing or that thing or that thing. So I think he was probably running into the same issue, like asking the same fucking questions for 5 years. It can get really tiring.
Yeah.
So he changed the format up, and he feels like, he's saying that he's much more excited about doing it and all that stuff. So just something to look at.
Yeah, I may actually just email all of my co-hosts and just say, look, I was out the last 2 weeks and I'm going to miss next week. And then just, feel like do whatever I have to feel like I'm in control of what's going on next week.
Yeah.
And we'll just kind of see how that works. Anyway, so I've just kind of been dealing with the emotional stuff. I also think that I've been thinking about like rearranging my office a little bit and stuff like that, and I think that just a change of pace that way too would help. So, anyway, it's that kind of thing, but I don't know. I've tried to introspect and figure out what a lot of this is, and I'm not sure that I completely understand it, and I'm not sure that I will. But I'm also fairly confident that given another week or so, I'll be on to the next stage, or maybe back to normal.
Yeah.
But I'm just having those human issues these days.
Well, like I said, I think the key for you is just to survive right now. Just like not to feel guilty about it either, right? It's like you can just tread water and survive until you get the worst thing you could do is miss some of the critical stuff that ends up burning down the business, right? That's like so as long as you're getting done what absolutely has to be done, then I would not worry about the rest for now. You know what I mean? Just until you're. Because if you try to do it all and you feel guilty about it, that's when you run the risk of doing none of it.
Yeah, that's true.
And it's mostly the feeling guilty about it that causes you to do nothing, right? It's like it's like a downward spiral. So you have to stop the downward spiral by making sure that you allow yourself the space you need, right? So it's not a big deal if you're not doing 100% of what you want to do right now. As long as the business is surviving, as long as you're doing what needs to be done, then it's good.
Yep. Yeah, and just thinking about that and kind of getting some context on it makes me feel a little bit better about it too.
You're getting a lot of noise, man.
I need to mute.
Yeah.
But just what you're kind of saying there, John. Yeah, I kind of mentally just gave myself permission for that. As you were talking through it, I'm like, yeah, that's right. And it does help. It does help me feel better, because then it's like, you know what? A lot of the stuff that I'm stressing over getting done, I can push.
Right.
And so if I do it, next week, if I give myself some time just to, just to get downtime, then that's okay. I mean, last night I was so done that I went and picked up my kids from school. I came home. I turned on my iPad and I had Moana babysit my 2-year-old. And she just sat on the other side. We have a king size bed. So she just sat on the other side of the bed where my wife sleeps and just watched Moana. And I just laid there. My kids, would come in periodically. Can we have dinner? Yeah, go make something. Can we do this? Sure. Can we do this? Sure. And yeah, I mean, that was my evening. I just kind of dozed in and out. And then after they were all in bed, I went downstairs and I cooked 3 pounds of bacon and ate about half of it. And, but it's just, I just kind of took things at my own pace for the afternoon, and that did help. But yeah, I think I do. I think I need to just look at things and just say, okay, these are the things that I must get done. And then just do those.
Yeah. I mean, like probably the Stephen Covey quadrants, like all your time should be urgent and important. Like,
yeah.
The first hour or so of your day is urgent and important, and the rest is optional. So,
yeah. And I've done some other things too. I mean, I have a weekly scheduled template that I reworked and stuff. So it's not like I haven't gotten anything done, but I have these goals out there that I've been working toward, and I didn't make a whole lot of progress towards those. And that's where this crap, comes in. But you know what? I can make it up later.
Yeah, exactly.
So anyway, there we go. We got real here on Entre Programmers.
My deliverability on ConvertKit has just tanked. Used to be 31, 32%. Last 4 emails, 23%, 18%, 17%.
Ooh. Interesting. I wonder. So we don't. Do you know who they're using on the back end? Because they're not using ConvertKit. Mailgun.
Mailgun, yeah.
Okay, because I think Drip is using SendGrid. I think.
Yeah, they are.
So that's interesting because I just had the same issue. Like in March, my deliverability dropped by about 25%.
By 25%, what do you mean?
Yeah. So I went from 20% open rate consistently to 15%. And I changed the email address and it went back up. So I'm sending from devcareers@simpleprogrammer now.
Instead of John at Simple Programmer.
Instead of John at Simple Programmer, and it went back. So you could try that. I think it happened actually. It seemed like it happened right during the Clever Programmer promotion that we did. So it was like the first email, I think, was like 20%, and then the second email was 15%. And then it never came back. It was really bizarre.
Huh.
Is it because someone reports spam or something?
I mean, it might have been like, I analyzed our addresses, and we have like 75% of our addresses are Gmail. I did not realize it was that high. So, I mean, it's possible that we started getting promotion boxed or something, sent to the promotions tab where we weren't before, or I don't really know. But it was a pretty significant hit. And all I did, I changed that. So that's kind of why I'm a little gun shy now about these affiliate offers. And, like, especially if I'm hitting the entire list with them, like it just increases my exposure and my risk for that to happen again. I mean, I guess I can just keep changing the email address if I need to, but yeah, it was really, really strange. But I actually have heard from a couple people that switched off of Drip onto ConvertKit because of their deliverability issues. And I was telling them, I don't think it's Drip. I don't think that's the problem. I think it's just.
But changing the ESP did help me because I had a dip on Aweber. I went from like 25, 30% down to 15%. Moved over to ConvertKit, back to 30, 31, 35%. And now it's again back to 17, 18, 25. I was like, oh.
I think it's not so much the ESP, it's that you're changing the footprint, or the fingerprint. So when you're sending out the emails, when you change something, if your deliverability is good and you change something, you can hurt yourself. If you're having deliverability problems and you change something, apparently it can help you.
Change like what?
Well, I mean, like I changed the the from address is a big signal. I mean, the Gmail and the other companies look at like a bunch of stuff. They look at the from address. They look at the links in the email. They look at the I think they look at the from name as well. So they're looking at a bunch of different factors. So if you can change some of those factors, I mean, for you, I would try changing the email address. Just create another one and see if that helps. Send an email. I mean, I just did to do the experiment. I just used Josh at Simple Programmer instead of John at Simple Programmer. Same email, same everything, and we had 25% higher open rate on the Josh at. So that's when I knew something was up.
If you're getting 3 emails back to back that are going down, then it is definitely a cause of concern, right? Or is it like just an anomaly?
I would say that's probably a cause of concern. Yeah, especially if it's like way off. Yeah. Were they like daily? I mean, were they like?
Well, I do once every couple of weeks.
Okay. Yeah, definitely. Something's up there.
Fuck, man. Shit is never. Every time you think you've fixed something else freaking broke.
Welcome to life.
Yeah. Welcome to business.
Do you have kids? Because
no,
you learn that real fast.
It's a never-ending process at that point, I guess.
Email's dying, I guess, too. So,
what's that?
I said email is dying. It's slow and painful death, apparently.
Whatever.
Those damn Snapchatters and
people
Instagram.
do adapt a lot to things too, though, and just some of the attention is going to be drawn off to that, but people are getting hip to a lot of the promotional stuff that you send through. I think this might be part of the deal that Josh is running into as well.
Mm-hmm.
Is it's not so much that they don't want it or that they're not interested in what you're offering.
Technique just doesn't work as well.
Yeah, they're just they've seen it so many times now to where they just kind of mentally filter it and move on, and they don't. It's almost like they never even saw it.
Yeah, but I mean, percentages are percentages, right? Stats are stats. So when you
if it's an immediate drop,
20%, it's not like one person had that epiphany. It's like thousands of people suddenly had the same epiphany, which is hard to believe.
Well, but it's an organism, right? It's a living organism, and the thing is, like, we've been marketed to a lot more in the last 5 years than in the last 50 years. Like, television advertising used to be extremely effective, right? Because no one advertised, right? It was like you didn't have ads everywhere, but
you expect that to like change overnight like that dramatically? I understand what you're saying.
No, in your case, in this specific in this specific case, no. There's definitely something mechanically going on with your.
It was enlightenment of.
Should I reach out to ConvertKit and talk to them about this shit? Have you tried those things in the past? Customer service help?
I did reach out to Drip once when we had a blip where we, for like 3 or 4 weeks, where things just seemed to go. I noticed that things seemed down, and they weren't really able to do anything. I mean, I think they looked at it and they didn't really give me anything useful. So
yeah, I think one other thing just to keep in mind is that, and this is something that Josh pointed out, is that a lot of his people he's emailing are on Gmail. And if they changed any of their algorithms, that could also affect deliverability. And if that accounts for, half your list or half the people who are opening, it may just be something like that that's completely invisible to you.
Mm-hmm. It's funny that this happened to you at like sort of the same time frame that I've been dealing with it. I mean, it happened to me. I noticed it in like at the end of March, I think. Let me look at my stats. When was the first email? When did you first notice this, Manny?
So April 12th email did 32%.
Okay.
And April 15 email did 24%.
Okay.
Then so April 17 email did 19%. Then
and your
16 email did 17%. Watch me.
And your numbers had been consistent. Like, it's not you don't think. I mean, the subject line. My experience is that a good subject line is going to be 2 to 3% bump. Like if you were doing 27% on average, a good subject line might get you up to 29%.
Well, I have been in the 25 to 30% range mostly.
Okay.
And so 30% is not like unheard of for me. I get above 30% quite a bit.
Right.
But like 33%, March 12 was 33%.
Okay. So here's what I saw. So on March 23rd, I sent our weekly broadcast. That's the one that I go by because that's a very consistent segment. So 19.1%, which is actually a little low. Then I sent the profitable programmer offer went out like 4 days later, and that did a 19.3% open rate. And then by the third or fourth email for that promotion, I was down. So the third email got a 16% open rate. And then I got 15.3, 15.3, 15.1. And then the next newsletter broadcast got a 16% open rate. And then from there, it was like the best that I did was like 17%. But mostly it was around 15. So, and that was like April, let's see. The first one that was really bad was like April 17th.
April 17th, huh?
Mm-hmm.
Around the same time.
Yeah.
And that's exactly the same time I got hit.
Yeah.
April 15. Between April 12 and April 15. April 12 was 32%. April 15 went down to 23.7. And April 17 went down to 18.6.
So one thing you could do, I don't know if ConvertKit gives you a way to do this, but I'm trying to think, how did I do this? I was able to look at so Drip has some reports where you can look at deliverability, or you can look at open rates. So you can like export your open rates, and I was able to look at. Now, I think maybe it was just I can't remember. Maybe it was just that I looked at the percent. I thought I was able to look at the open rates by email, by like Gmail versus Hotmail or everything. But I think it was just I can see the percentages of each that are in my database. So never mind. Mm-hmm. But yeah, I bet you if you exported your list, it would be 70 to 80% Gmail.
Yeah,
and probably there's more to it than that because you're not going to capture all the Google Apps people. So that like kind of pisses me off because I mean that like, oh man, Google just has so much power. It's crazy.
Yeah, they do. Yeah, they can do whatever the fuck they want at this point with YouTube and Google and all that
stuff. But they can control what you can and can't do on your website because of Google search is where 80% of your traffic comes from. And then they control the deliverability of your emails. It's break them up.
Break them up?
Yes.
I'd like to see this. I can actually see this. These emails are ending up in promotions rather than they used to be in updates, at least on my email address that I've used.
Yeah, and promotions is probably a lot more crowded. So you might want to just create a few Gmail accounts and like.
That's what I did.
Oh, okay. Okay, cool. So you've got like dummy accounts that you.
Yeah, but they're all pointing to the same email address though.
Well, I would say like you could, if you created several Gmail accounts, you could make your own deliverability service kind of.
Seeds, yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Okay.
So.
Yeah, April 15th also ended up in promotions tab. And let's see. Yeah, before that it was actually in the updates tab. God damn.
So they may have made a change, and I might have temporarily thrown them off the scent by changing the email address, but there's a good chance I end up back in the penalty box at some point.
So it's just Gmail screwing it up for us?
Probably. I mean, if it's 75% of your subscribers, like mine is, then that would, if 25% of those people don't open, then there's your difference.
Yeah.
Well,
So
is there a reason why they move you from updates to promotions?
They algorithmically detect that it's a promotion of some sort.
I know.
There.
yeah, I mean, you
No, but now every email is going to go into promotion. Is that how that works?
it can, well, like, so part of the factor with it is how people are interacting with your emails. So if I actually try to get people to reply quite a bit
Yeah.
because that helps. I mean, there's like things you can do. If people are opening your emails, clicking on them, that's helpful. If they're replying, that's helpful because they'll look at the percentages, and say, oh wow, like 2% of the people reply to this email. They must have really wanted to get this email. So there's things you can do, but I don't know. I honestly don't have a sense for how effective it is.
Fuck, man. This shit is stupid.
If you file the antitrust suit, I will join that lawsuit as a co-suant.
I would agree with you on this. Ugh, yuck.
It's kind of ironic because the same people that were so anti-Microsoft back in the day are like so, like just love Google. Oh, don't be evil. But it is what it is. So
Yeah. But it may be something else entirely too. I mean,
yeah,
I would just experiment and just see, if I change up the way I do my titles or the way that I structure my email or the email I'm sending from, or there are probably about half dozen things that are pretty easy to identify that you can vary, and then you can kind of go from there and go, you know what,
right.
It looks like when I do this that it brings it back or brings it part way back.
Yep. Yeah, I mean, definitely test a different email address, and you can pretty easily change the from name, and just do like an A/B test, like just split your list, and that's what I did. Send the same email. Next time you send a broadcast, just split it, try something else with the other one, and see what you get.
Yeah.
Yep.
I'm gonna cut out the email images to see what happens. Even though the first one didn't have image, I mean, the one that had image still hit 33%.
Images, my understanding is that images are only a problem when they're the majority of when they're the overwhelming majority of the content. Basically, you want the email to look as natural as possible, like somebody sat down and typed it up. So, do you ever send screenshots or cat photos or anything in your emails? Of course you do. Well, Manny doesn't. Okay.
Only Donald Trump pictures.
There you
Donald
go.
Trump with Stormy Daniels.
So yeah, I don't know. And I'm gonna have to go back and look at the see if I can I want to see if I can figure out the open rate by ESP. That would be super useful to be able to tell.
You might as well use a deliverability service provider at this point.
Yeah, I've looked at some and they are so expensive. Like
Well, just do it for a month and
it was like thousands of dollars. I mean,
no. There's something I used one time when I was going through it, but it was like $100 a month. I just used it for a month.
That's not bad at all.
Yeah.
The one I was looking at, they did more than just deliverability. They did analytics and stuff. Like they would do more in-depth tracking and stuff. And I was very excited about it, but it was going to be like $20,000 a year or something.
Oh yeah.
So yeah, it was like enterprise level stuff.
Oh man. Fucking Gmail.
Yeah, but again, I mean, you don't 100% know that that's the problem. So,
well, I know it's in promotions tab that I can see already. It's gone from updates to promotions tab, so that's a huge deal.
Yeah,
that itself is like going to tank the whole thing.
I was pretty frustrated when they first rolled that out because I recognized it at the time as like a pretty big anti-competitive thing, and it's like, I mean, it's basically turned email, like they're doing the same thing with their email that they do with Twitter and Facebook, where it's just like they're able to hide whatever they want to hide, so it makes it tough. And then the other thing too would be I don't know how many people yet are using Inbox or whatever their tool is, but that I haven't looked too much at that, but I bet you that they're about to merge, I think, that with the regular Gmail interface. So that will be something to watch too and see if it hits us. Because that might
be interesting.
Yeah, that does. I know that does like a lot of. It tries to do a lot of thinking for you. So.
Just like that, my email marketing days were over.
Time to go to doors, knock on doors, directly to people's houses. That's
Time to
it.
become a pig farmer.
You can't even text them because you know that they might not respond to text. Facebook is not guaranteed anymore. Instagram is too crowded. Right? You just got to knock on their fucking door and be like, "Hey."
Yep, I'm just gonna go be a pig farmer.
Just get double the number of email addresses.
Yeah. Well, the funny thing is, like, all these privacy, like the privacy people that are so up in arms about using using data to target people, what they don't understand is that we're actually mostly what we're doing is using data to not target people.
Exactly.
Like, it's like, would you rather see more relevant ads or less relevant ads? That's the question. Like, would you like to just see completely, or basically, if you get rid of all the targeting data, you know what you end up with? You end up with one weird trick to get rid of belly fat. I mean, seriously, that's the only thing that will work.
Yeah.
When you get rid of all the layers of targeting. So it's, I don't know, it's really, the marketing's not going away. It's just.
Well, the other thing is we're trying to sell whatever it is we're trying to sell to people who actually have the problem. I mean,
Exactly. Yes.
there are snake oil salespeople out there, but for the most part, I want to sell my stuff to the people it's going to help, so that the next thing I come out with, they're going to buy that too. And so, the targeting isn't just, oh, well, I'm a sleazy used car salesperson. It's actually, these are the people I think I can help. This is where I think I can make the difference.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, I get to go buy my kids shoes too, but it's kind of this mutual benefit. And ultimately, I consider it a successful sale if the person gets 3 to 4 times the value out of it that they paid.
Okay, our new product: make money, get Russian wives, lose your belly fat. That's it. It's just all three.
There we go. There we go. That's yeah.
We can Facebook ad the hell out of that.
I think we could sell it to Donald Trump.
Yeah, when John gets back home next week for Entre Programmers, his wife's going to walk in and he's going to have forced her to talk in a Russian accent.
But yeah, when you eliminate all that, though, Chuck, I agree with what you're saying, and basically what you're doing is creating an environment where only the snake oil salesman can succeed, because you have to basically promise the moon to the broadest audience possible, and that's the only way that you can make any profit. So you're squeezing out the little guys. You're squeezing out the little guys, and the only guys who can still make it are the big ones who just spend money like drunken sailors.
My friends at who are doing a lot of affiliate marketing, Zach and Joe, they said after the Facebook congressional hearing, they're when did this congressional hearing thing happen? Maybe we're also in part of the same stupid thing.
Oh, that is a good point.
That could be. Hey guys, I gotta jump off because I got a coaching call. But
alrighty, see ya.
My thoughts.
Yeah, April 11th.
Oh wait, he's got a thought.
Oh, it's talk to Richard Simmons.
April 11th, dude.
All right, that's good.
That's it.
If I shut this down, it'll keep going, right? I won't kill it all.
Oh,
I hope so.
I guess we'll find out.
No,
I think so.
It is April 11 when Zuckerberg did that.
Interesting.
Did what? Talk to
yeah, and that's exactly when the deliverability start going down.
Interesting.
Wow.
Maybe they made some changes too.
Fucking Zuckerberg just tanked our businesses.
Well,
I'm sure they all have to like be very aware of this.
Manny, the other thing
tighten up
The
the
other-
controls.
The other thing that I just thought of too that could be related is the GDPR nonsense.
When
Yeah,
the
I think-
GDPR, because these dates are pretty pretty telling, right? Because I have
Yeah.
April.
Yeah, but
April
GDPR
12
doesn't go into
doing
effect
just-
till next week.
No, but everybody's making changes ahead of the
That's
update.
true.
So, I mean, for me, GDPR has been its biggest achievement so far is creating the greatest spam event that's in the history of the internet.
Oh,
I've
you
gotten
are-
so many
Yes.
freaking emails about it. It's like every service that I've ever had any contact with in the last 15 years is emailing me about all these changes.
Oh,
But, yep. So,
yeah, it's the same time, man. Zuckerberg hearing. Fuck. That's really bad. Fuck. That's like there goes 30% of my business.
well, I mean, could be. It could also be that the, I mean, yeah. Is there a way to measure lead scores or anything in, or like activity levels in ConvertKit?
What is that?
So in Drip, you have everybody gets a point score as to how active they've been.
Every subscriber?
Yeah.
Yeah, they don't have scores, but I can click through each of them and see which ones they're opening, who's not opening.
Right. Because it's possible that you lost. I mean, I don't know. It probably is just. It could be that you lost some deadwood to it, more deadwood than good subscribers.
Yeah, but bad deliverability causes long-term problems too, right?
Yes.
Uh,
You could also another thing you could try would be just opening an account with like a MailChimp or something, and just do an export of your database. Send an email from MailChimp. Pay
and
for
tell them what?
what's that?
Tell them what?
Well, I mean, just send out one of your regular broadcasts. You don't have to tell them anything. It'll look like it. I mean, if you make the from address the same and everything the same, it'll look like nobody will be the wiser, really.
Yeah,
The
but
email
what's the
template
use
will.
of that?
It'll well because switching services, it would tell you if something got tainted with your specific account. Like, so there's a lot of pots. So other things that they watch are the servers, the server names, and the IP addresses that the mail's coming from. So it could be that there's some issue with Mailgun. It could be. It could be specific to you. It could be Mailgun. It could be ConvertKit. So if you just switch to MailChimp for one broadcast, and you
Well, I
went
have-
back up to 30%.
MailChimp already banned me
Oh, okay,
for no good reason.
okay.
Just randomly, I just imported my list there and said, "Hey, I'm going to start mailing," and they said, "Oops, sorry, you cannot mail from MailChimp."
Okay.
Yeah, but I have Aweber as well. I have Aweber on the side. I could use, but they already are tanked. They already
Yeah,
they're already fucked up, so I don't want to use them
right.
anymore.
That doesn't help you. But yeah, I mean, just get a subscription to one other service. I would try changing your email address first, and maybe the from name, and maybe even go into the HTML template and change that up. Try that, and then
Yeah, I'm gonna send a really short email to see what happens without many hyperlinks, just to see what happens.
yes, exactly. Yeah, do that. Maybe even ask people to reply to you.
Yeah.
That can be, if you have maybe there's some survey question that would be useful to get 100 answers to.
Yeah.
So I would give that a try. That might help.
Yeah.
And then try it. If that doesn't seem to do anything, try a different service. Try a subject line. Make it like a really personal, like, hey, like with a smiley face or something. Seriously, like those
Yeah.
really cheesy, they get really high open rates.